guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another financial video. Today we are going to be talking all about my June budget. We're going to go through it. We're going to look at every single transaction and do a little bit of a reflection. So we're going to be going through exactly what I spent in the entire month of June. June for me was a low spend month. At least that was the goal. I think low spend for everyone can mean different things, but for me, I really just wanted to kind of buy the bare minimum and save as much as possible. That was my goal for June. And spoiler alert, I feel like I did pretty well. There's definitely some things that I bought that I didn't need to buy, but in general, it was a pretty good lower spend month for me. If you are new here, make sure that you subscribe, stick around, join our family over here. I am 26. I live in Tampa, Florida. I love making just lifestyle type videos. So there's a little bit of everything over here. I like to say it's getting through our 20s because there's a lot that goes into getting through your 20s. So we talk life, I love fashion, home, finances, of course, and yeah, just a little bit of everything. So make sure that you subscribe. First thing I want to do is reflect on my low spend month goals. For me, it's difficult to just say I'm going to spend as little as possible this month. I needed goals. Like, what does that mean? So I set 4 financial goals around this. Did I hit all of them? No. But that's okay. I think you guys know I aim for like 80% adherence to my goals because you kind of have to live your life. I'm in a pretty good spot where I don't have to be so strict with myself, and everyone's financial situation is different. So let's go through the goals that I set to make it a low spend month. The first one was go out to eat only 5 times. Yeah, no, we went out to eat way more than that. It was a really social month for us, which food and drink tends to be a really social thing. I will say I only have 5 like restaurant charges on my budget. So you could say that I did hit that, but we technically did go out to eat a lot more. My fiance paid for quite a few of them. We also went out to eat with family. There was just a really social month. So that honestly was kind of a total fail for that goal. I would actually say for June, we went out to eat way more than we usually do. We usually keep it to like once a week or less, but something about June, we really went out to eat a lot. So that's something I've already identified as kind of a fail on my low spend month, and something that going forward in July, I want to do way better. We're going to keep it to once a week or less. Second thing, we're just going through all my failures. Second thing, no clothes. That was my goal, to buy no clothes. I said I had no events, no reason for clothes, but that was kind of a fail because I did have a engagement party that I was going to that I really wanted a new dress for. I mean, I had something I could wear, but it just wasn't the vibe. So I needed a new dress. So I did go to TJ Maxx and I bought a new dress and I bought this top. So I think it was like 60 bucks. So that one also kind of a fail, but honestly, I felt like it was something that I needed to do in that moment. So that's okay. I don't think that one is too much of a fail. Like going out to eat, we really blew that one out of proportion, but the no clothes, we just bought a couple things. No Amazon. I did really good on that. I didn't order a single thing from Amazon, even though it's kind of inconvenient. Amazon is very much a platform of convenience for me. So I had to go to the stores and buy the things I needed. Like, perfect example is like concealer. I had to actually go to Target and buy that rather than just buying it on Amazon. But we did good, no Amazon purchases. And then lastly, no coffee shops. So no coffee out. We did good on that. No coffee shops. We hit 2 out of 4 of the goals, which could have been better. I'm still pretty happy with that. I am gonna go through and identify like things that I shouldn't have bought later on in this video, but 2 out of 4, that's okay. And the 2 goals that we didn't hit, I don't feel like I totally failed them. I just didn't hit them 100%. So I honestly feel pretty good. I would say the low spend month, something I've realized about saving money and not spending a lot of money is that saving for me is not hard, it's just boring. So I have to get comfortable with doing nothing, staying home, not having a new outfit for every single event. It's just something that you have to adjust to and get comfortable with being a little bit more bored. And that's coming from someone who gets a lot of satisfaction from having a package coming in the mail, getting new things. It's something I'm working on. I've been actively working on, and I'm doing so much better now than I used to do. I guess this is the perfect time for a disclaimer. Everyone's financial situation is different. It took me a long time to get control of my spending and be a more financially conscious person. A year ago, I was not doing this. I was not budgeting. I was not tracking my expenses, and I'm in a lot better place now. So I love to sit down and like reflect on what I spent every month, set goals for the new month. But yeah, by no means am I some financial expert. This is just what works for me. It's been working for me since the beginning of the year. I've been doing a really great job with tracking and being more financially conscious. Just a disclaimer, like, I'm not a financial expert by any means, but this is what works for me, and it works great for me. I think the number one thing you can do for your financial situation is just to be aware of your spending, be aware of where your money's going and where you want it to be going. That would be like my best advice. I will say this low spend month is really more like an ideal month for me. If I could do this every month, I would be very, very happy. And I even think I could have gotten this lower. Like, you'll see there's some charges that are not monthly recurring charges. So I definitely feel like I could have gotten it even lower. If I could spend similar to what I did in June, that is like ideal for me. Let's get into the nitty gritty, what you guys really want to see. Okay, so up on the screen, I have my June budget and my June expense tracker. I usually keep these in separate spreadsheets, but I went ahead and put them on one for the sake of the video so that we could go through this together. Over here is my expense tracker. You can see every single thing that I bought this month. And then over here on the left, you can see my June budget. So I have what I was budgeted, and then we're gonna go through what I actually spent. I am keeping my savings and investments private. I'm not quite there in the comfortability of putting every single thing out on the internet. I'm definitely getting there. I feel like I'm sharing more and more, but for now, we're still gonna keep my exact income. I mean, you can get a pretty good idea based on my budget, but my exact income and what I'm actually saving and investing private. For now, that's just a boundary that I've set, and hopefully you guys can respect that. So how we're gonna do this is I'm actually gonna go over here to the category filter, and I'm gonna filter it or sort it by A to Z. So then you can see all of the expenses in the same categories are next to each other. And then we will go through our June budget and see what we really spent. Okay, so starting with rent, I budgeted $1,610. Let's find it over here. And then I actually spent $1,613. My rent does vary just a little bit because my rent includes my water. So every month they bill us our rent, but then they also bill our water to the portal. So it can vary by a few dollars here and there. So a little bit higher than I budgeted, nothing crazy. Car insurance, I budgeted $124. We see over here $123.93. Right on track with that. My phone, I budget $100. Looks like it was $93.64. I prefer to over budget than under budget. I'm gonna change this format because I rather think I have less money than I have. So if something is like $94, $95, I'm just gonna budget $100 for it because I love to have a little bit left over. Pet insurance, I budgeted $65. Let's find it. Oh, $62.30, lower. $62.30. So over here you can see for the most part I over budget, but like for rent I did under budget just a little bit, but these things all kind of cancel each other out. Those are fixed expenses for me. I expect them to be around that. Never really changes that much. Same down here for our subscriptions. Budgeted for gym $140. If I go over here, my workout studio was $139, and then iCloud $3, which I'm not seeing it on my transaction, so I might have forgotten to write it down or it hasn't come out yet, one of the two. So I'm just gonna put 0 because I don't see it. Again, those are kind of fixed expenses, so they don't really change that often. Student loans, I put $300 on them every single month. Looks like right here, $377, a little bit over this month. I don't know what the 77 cents is. I think the loan is broken up into like 3 smaller loans. So I think what I do is I like to make each of them an even number, so then the total looks a little odd. So yeah, $377. Okay, now we have our more variable spending. So let's see for grocery and household. So by household, I mean like if I go to Target and I get toilet paper and paper towels and cleaning supplies, like that to me is all one bucket. You can see we have the grocery category over here. So all I'm gonna do is highlight all of those things, and then right down here it sums it up for me. Beautiful. So it looks like we spent $142.64 on groceries, which as you can see is significantly lower than I budgeted for. I do split a lot of bills with my fiance, specifically like our rent and our utilities. We split them half and half. So for that reason, he does pay for a lot of the other stuff. Groceries is one example. Trust me when I say we spent much more than $142 for the entire month of groceries, but that's just what works for us, that he does buy the majority of our groceries. So that definitely saves me a little bit of money in some of these areas. Really good low grocery bill. And also remember that we went out to eat quite a bit this month. So that's another reason that our grocery bill is way lower. Pet needs, I budgeted $160. Let's go over here to pet. So I'm not gonna include the pet insurance because that's already included upwards in our budget, but looks like I did buy dog food and then dog treats for $175.14, so a little bit higher. My dog is on prescription dog food. He has a very sensitive stomach, so he's an expensive guy. And then I also had to buy some CBD dog treats, which were crazy expensive. They were like $35 because his newest thing is that he's scared of storms. And we have 4th of July coming up this week, fireworks. I wanted to get something for him. So we're a little bit over on pet needs. Medical, I believe I'm right on budget with $20. I had one doctor bill that came out, copay, whatever you want to call it. So $20. Car, $50. I believe I'm going to be a little high on that because I had SunPass come out, which if you don't know, I live in Florida and there's a lot of toll roads around here. I try to avoid them for the most part, but sometimes if I'm running late, I gotta use the toll roads because they're usually quicker. So yeah, a little over on car, $65.85. If it wasn't for SunPass, I would have been right on budget at $45 for gas, but SunPass, so $65.85. I really do try to avoid it at all costs, the toll roads, but sometimes you just can't. Social activities, I budgeted $100. This is like if we go to a baseball game and we buy baseball tickets or just random things that you do for social activities. So definitely lower on that, $22.05. I paid for parking to go dress shopping, and I also paid $15 for some craft supplies to do a craft with my friend, so $22.05. Not bad there with social activities. I will say I make up for it a little bit later in Uber costs and stuff like that, which I feel like could also be considered social activity because I only Uber to go do social things, but I put that in its own separate category. Restaurants, I have budgeted $75 and we spent $99.47. That doesn't surprise me. A little bit over on restaurants this month. Huge goal of mine is to reduce the restaurant amount because like I said, in June we went crazy with the restaurants. I feel like we went out to eat like multiple times every single week, which is very unlike us. So I would like to get the restaurant spending way back this month, maybe back to that like $75 range. That's a lot better. Bars and alcohol, I budgeted $30. I don't think, yeah, $0 on bars and alcohol. I do have a spritz here, but I put that in the restaurant section because I got it at a restaurant. Bars and alcohol is more like if I go to the liquor store or if we go just solely to a bar, $0, which is great. We love to see it. Coffee, I budgeted $20 and I know I spent $0 on coffee because goal of Low Spin June was to not go to any coffee shops. Beauty, I have budgeted $100. I didn't do much. I did get my nails done. Here we go, right at the top, $60 for beauty. So came in under on that. I'm feeling good. I feel like I'm doing good. Gifts, $50. I definitely did buy a couple gifts. Looks like we are right on budget. Oh, a little bit over at $59.12. I bought my fiance a t-shirt as a gift because I saw it and I had to have it for him. And then I sent $20 via Venmo to like a wedding gift fund for someone that I work with. So $60 on gifts. And then last category I have budgeted for, but it's not going to be the last category, is shopping miscellaneous, which we have right here. I spent $131.67. TJ Maxx, that's what I told you guys. I went and bought a new dress and I bought this top, which was $64.48, and then new Beat, $67.19. The dog that I dog sit chewed up my fiance's Beat, like just one of them. So I went ahead and purchased him a new one because I felt bad about it. It's the dog that I dog sit did it, so I just went ahead and bought him a new Beat. So looking at my spending tracker, we tracked beauty, bills, car, debt, fitness, gifts, groceries, medical, pet, restaurants, shopping, miscellaneous, social activity. And then you can see we have these few here at the bottom that I had not tracked yet. So let's do Uber. I obviously budgeted 0, but I spent $42.45. So definitely over on Uber. We Ubered to go out to dinner one day, and then we Ubered to an engagement party. This is probably about half of really what we spent on Ubers, because I always call the Uber there and my fiance will call the Uber back or something like that. So definitely a little high on Uber, but that's one of those things that like I'm gonna do the Uber. If we're gonna be drinking, we're not even gonna worry about having our car. So I don't really feel guilty about my Uber spending. I will say, you can tell with like the restaurant spending and stuff, this was a more socially active month for us, which in turn means more Ubers. So we gotta reel it in July. And then last thing, travel. I obviously budgeted 0 for that, but we spent $219, and that's on flights. We are headed to Charlotte in August. Will got our Airbnb for 3 nights, I think it is, and I bought the flights, just what works for us. So that's 2 things that I obviously didn't budget for, but I did have some spending in that category. And then, like I said, not gonna share exact like savings and investments, but I did put money into my Roth IRA, my emergency fund, and my high yield savings account. So you can just assume whatever I had left over went into those accounts. My total just out of pocket spending was $3,370.03 for the month of June. Kind of crazy, but as you can see here, almost 50% of that is straight up bills. My rent is obviously a huge chunk, and the majority is bills. The other highest, it looks like, fitness at 4%, debt at about 9%, and we can see the travel here with my flights was 6%. So besides bills, looks like travel and debt were gonna be my other highest chunks, which honestly I'm pretty happy with that. I feel like looking at this did a pretty good job of staying on track with the budget. A few things were under, a few things were over, but overall I do feel pretty happy with this budget. I will say my budget for July is gonna be the exact same, not gonna change anything for the budgeted expenses, but hopefully I can do even better with adherence for July. I wanna look at my expense tracker and just identify things that could potentially have been avoided. I will start with SunPass, that $20 SunPass. I need to allow more time to get to my destination so that I don't need to use the toll roads. Because what it'll be is it'll take you 20 minutes to get there without the toll roads, but if you take the tolls, it's only 10 minutes. So I just need to allow myself enough time to avoid tolls. So that was kind of unnecessary in my opinion. Looking at all of these restaurant expenses, probably could have avoided this breakfast one. That was just a breakfast for me and Will one morning. That probably could have been avoided. And then third, I'll say this TJ Maxx shopping miscellaneous. It wasn't totally necessary. I won't lie, I did really love the dress. I do really love this top. I've already worn it twice now. For the purpose of meeting my goal of buying no clothes, I could have avoided that expense just for the month of June. If I had avoided those, I would have saved myself a little bit over $100. Really not crazy, but I like to identify things where I can be better. This was my first time fully going through my monthly budget with you guys. I feel like I've done a lot of what I spend in a week videos and stuff like that, but this was a full month of spending. I feel like I did pretty good. I was honestly able to put a really good chunk into savings this month. Last thing I want to do with you guys is just a little bit of a savings update. You guys know my current saving goals are just to save for our wedding. That's like my #1 savings goal just for the entire year of 2024, which we're doing really good at. I'll give you a little update. We are at 78% to goal. which is kind of insane. I think last time I updated you, we were at like 50%. So we're doing really good with putting savings there. Our emergency fund, we're at 50% to goal. So obviously we're trying to beef that up. It's gonna be a lot easier to do when we're not saving so hard for our wedding. We're at 50% to goal for emergency fund. And then I did go ahead and start a moving fund because we are moving out of this apartment in August, or it's like the end of August, so like early September. So I did start a little fund for that and I've already funded it. So I have 100% of my savings goal for our move. So just my overarching goal for 2024 is to save as much as possible, specifically with our wedding. And then after the wedding, we'll be able to diversify our savings a little bit more. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's hard for me to tell if my spending habits are like normal, like am I doing good, am I doing bad? For me, this was a really good month and I am really happy with where we are with everything. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. If you made it all the way to the end, make sure that you subscribe. And with that being said, I will see you all so very soon in my next video. Bye guys.